Scotty. Where's Scotty?
Welcome back to one of the last videos of 2022. We're continuing Ugly Shirt Month for December, and today we're doing the Q&A. So 4 weeks ago I asked you guys if you had any questions at all.
Ask me anything.
Today we're going to go through every single one and answer them. Now I'm going to go through them completely randomly on my phone. If there's any questions that are really specific, I'll skip it. I'll just reply personally to that person. But every other one, we're going to answer as best we can. Let's jump straight in and let's jump to the very first question. And the first one is from BMRBCA. Dream board, picking pieces and parts of all the boards you've ridden, what would you assemble? Oh, that is a really good question. Hurricane deck. I love the Hurricane deck. Tiny trucks and battery, multi-cell P42s. Motors, I would have to get the motors off the ESK8 X1. Those massive motors are just amazing. Grip tape, any padded grip tape would really do for me. What else is there? And honestly, the bushings off the new X-Way Atlas Pro, those new fat flat bushings, absolutely amazing. So Hurricane deck, tiny trucks and battery. Did I say ESC? Probably the ESC from the ESK8 X1 as well. The ESC on that thing is really nice. I think it's 90 amps from memory. All right, next question, here we go. The next one is from 7 Floors Down. What was the process and your considerations of moving from Sydney to Brisbane? Please feel free to leave it out. Private information as you're comfortable with. Honestly, the consideration was just lifestyle. It's a lot more relaxed here in Brisbane than Sydney. Sydney's a beautiful city. All our friends are there. We don't have any family there. We have a couple of family members, but both my wife and I are from New Zealand, so we weren't really leaving too much behind, except for all of our really good friends, which was quite a tough decision to make. But the quality of life here in Brisbane is just tenfold. It's really relaxed. The houses, what you get dollar for dollar, you know, for $1 million house in Sydney, you'll get a 1.5 bedroom apartment. $1 million house here, you'll get a 4-bedroom house with a swimming pool. Right, next question, here we go. Next one is from Pixel. Have you ever done or considering doing a DIY board? It would make for a pretty cool video. Funny you should ask that. If you look back 2 videos ago, I am about to start on that journey. We're gonna build it very early in 2023. The guys at Omniskate have hooked me up with a whole heap of parts. I just need to decide on the battery, the VESC, and probably find some really nice channel trucks or some sort of truck setup. But yes, coming very soon in 2023. This one is from Andreas M. Hey Scott, glad you brought it up. What about a deeper thoughts and full review of the Baja Board S2? Agility wise, okay, so the Baja Board, I've been talking to the guys at Baja. We're gonna get our hands on a board early in 2023. It was supposed to happen towards the end of this year. Things just got out of control. I got super busy at work, but it's definitely coming. Baja Board coming very soon. Next one is from Croffy Edits. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Croffy Edits. Hey Scott, I've always wondered how review products work with ESK8 companies. Do you shoot them an email saying you'd like to review one of their boards and they send it to you for free, or are they the one contacting you? Really good question. So when you first start out, you need to contact them, but you can't, I mean, you can, and it didn't work for me. You can't just message them saying, hey, I want to review your board, send it to me. Because if you don't have many subscribers, they're not going to see the value in it. Then they need to go, right, if we send a board that's worth X dollars to this person that's only got, let's say, 500 subscribers, what evidence is there that he will create a value add for us as a business? And so, yep, when you first start out, you can reach out to businesses and say, hey, I'd like to review your products, get on their radar. But what has more impact, this is what I found with my channel, is just be part of the community. Make some cool content, get out there, borrow a board off someone, make some cool videos, And then to get in the board company's good books, find areas that they may have missed. It could be a spelling error, it could be a specs error on their spreadsheet, it could be someone is saying something online which isn't true, and you can let them know. You say, hey listen, I was on your website just now and I noticed you've got M50s instead of P42s, just want to let you know. And instantly you start to become, oh wow, we can trust this guy, he's helped us out. And you combine that with your good standing in the community. You know, you need to be part of the community. If you're not adding value to the community, then your reviews will just never get the traction that companies want to see before they start sending you review units to promote and to review and to give your thoughts on. Sorry, that was a little bit long. Here we go. Next one is from the old E-Skater. I'm still planning to make a trip across the United States on a custom built 12S 8P with a 48-inch dance deck. If you were going to make this epic journey trip, which wheels would you ride? I want to try and charge with solar. Any suggestions on solar charge? Okay, no suggestions on solar charging. That's not my area of expertise. I know there's a few people out there trying to do it. As far as wheels, I would go as big as possible. 10-inch, 12-inch. The bigger the wheels, the more comfortable the ride's going to be. On those long distance rides, you don't need torque. You want range. You just want to be able to cruise comfortably at maybe even 50, 60 kilometers per hour. So the bigger the wheels, the better, I think, for long range. Charlie 1. Hey Scott, have you ever considered building a DIY board? If, why not? If yes, I've already answered that one about 3 minutes earlier. So yes, it's coming in 2023. Next one is from John is Borderline. I remember in videos past you mentioned some brands that you will not review because they ask you to have certain opinions. I think you paraphrased it. If you haven't seen me review certain well-known brands, it's probably because they want me to state my whole honest blah blah blah. There's some brands I won't work with now, and it's not really because of how they have tried to engage me in the past, but it's I may have worked with them in the past and I haven't liked how they've conducted themselves as far as after sales service or shipping. So things like APSU, I won't work with them anymore, won't promote them. Team G had some real massive problems. Their first couple of boards, the H9, the H6, awesome boards. As soon as they got into the H20s, the H20Ts, it was pretty evident that the board they sent me to review was different from the board they were selling. So they're on my shit list. However, they've got a new board coming out soon and I know who's making it, and the person who's making it for them is very, very good at making electric skateboard. But the board doesn't change the company, and I was really disappointed with how Team G outsourced their customer service on the H20 and the H20T and left a lot of people hanging for after sales. So, all right, next question is from Charge and Carve. Awesome name. Anything you've ever reviewed catch fire? No. Let's have a look. Next one. Torpong 44, Torpong 44. What effect does COVID pandemic had on your life, and what do you think your government did right or wrong? It didn't really have any effect on my life. We were really lucky where we were in Sydney. I continued to work full-time at Nespresso at the time. We moved states just as Sydney or Brisbane was starting to lock down to the rest of the country, so we managed to get into Queensland right before the lockdown. So again, we were very free. As far as what the government did right or wrong, I don't really have an opinion on that. I just say hindsight is a wonderful thing. All right, Stephen Hartley, very long time subscriber, very big supporter of the channel. In your experience, what skateboard brand has the worst and best customer service? Don't hold back. Right, let's start with the worst. It has to be the ones I've already mentioned. APSU, Team G, Lycon board now. Lycon used to be awesome. They pushed out one of the owners and it just went to crap. So Lycon, that's another brand I won't work with anymore. Lycon was a long-time supporter of the channel. In case any of you ever wondering why Lycon stopped supporting the channel, well, they pushed out the person who was the driving force, the heart of that company, and now they are just pumping out mediocre boards. They've lowered their QC. Yeah, rubbish. Best, it's hard to say because everyone has their own different opinions and their different experiences with best customer service. I've never had a problem with Meepo. I've never had a problem with OwnBoard. I've never had a problem with Ace-Deck. They're the new kids on the block. They're really trying to prove themselves. Tiny, Aiden, Tiny board. Again, if you're getting a response from Tiny, it's probably Aiden. He works mad hours trying to make sure everyone's always happy, and he's constantly innovating, which is really cool. And he's also happy. If you're saying, oh, I'm thinking about buying the Tiny Mini 1, I've actually seen him say, oh, hold on for 2 weeks, I'm about to release the 2, and I really respect that. So definitely tiny as far as good customer service, and there's a reason why they're a supporter of this channel. I really like what they're doing in the industry. Next one, Thomas B-Boy Stretch. Okay, awesome supporter. What's one thing you wish the community did and didn't do? Okay, didn't do, I wish we didn't tear people down. Like, I'll see people who are, you can just tell, are so happy they've got their first skateboard, and they might have gone and got a Lycon GR or a Team G H20 or a Meepo V3, whatever it is, and people just eat them alive. Like, oh, what did you buy that piece of rubbish for? Blah, oh, good luck with that. I'd leave that outside. I wish we didn't tear people down. There's a way you can say, oh, cool board, just be careful with blah, blah, blah. I really feel like we just tear people down in this industry when they don't buy the board you think is the best board. And I see it daily, and I'm like, ah, come on. I'll try to put a comment saying, oh man, cool board, I have one of those. I just wish we would lift people up instead of breaking them down and telling them that the board that they've been saving for 6 months is crap. One thing I wish we did do, well, it's pretty much the opposite of what I just said. I wish we would just congratulate people for entering the sport, you know? Awesome board, hey, next when you're ready to upgrade, try this one. That sort of thing. Yeah, we're still such a small global community. I think we can drive the community even faster and in a more positive way just by celebrating when people want to join our sport and they buy their first e-skate. All right, next question, here we go. We're moving through these. Next one is from Travis. How did you get so handsome? That's an easy one. Next one is from Steve Lord. Are there brands of PEVs that you had issues with previously and now refuse to deal with going forward? Similar question to the one. Look back a few, there's 2 or 3 brands there. APSU, just terrible service. Team G really did send me a different board from the one they sold to customers. And Lycon, since they've pushed out that other owner, it's just gone to absolute crap. So yeah, that's probably the 3 main ones. Craig Taylor, who is your favorite YouTuber? Do you watch other e-skate content, and who is someone in the e-skate community that inspires you? All right, big question. Who is your favorite YouTuber? And honestly, this is gonna be really cliche, but the person that made me realize you can make content is Casey Neistat. He's just a cool cat. I love the way he tells stories. I love the way he films. I love the way he edits. I love his music choices. I can just watch his stuff on repeat, and it inspires me to go out and make my own type of content. Do I watch e-skate content? 100% do. I love watching stuff. I love watching all the new guys coming through the ranks, people like Drew, people like, who else is there? Geez, there's so many people. Someone who inspired me. I don't really get inspired, if that makes sense. I'm not that sort of person. I'm sort of just like, I'm a pretty flat personality when it comes to that sort of thing. But someone's reviews who I watched and went, hey, that's a cool thing to do, would definitely be Daniel Kwan. You know, you look at his stuff back 5 years ago, or even now, but you know, when I first started looking at e-skate reviews, his stuff was factual. His humor was so dry, it was funny, and he just had all the cool toys. So Daniel Kwan, 100%, looked up to that guy as far as making content, and yeah, that's it. Okay, Brad Tonic, love the cap. Where'd you get it from? My floral cap, I'm not wearing it right now. Kmart, $5, probably 5 years ago, and it still looks brand new. Incredible. Okay, Chip Ornak, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I bought a boosted Stealth almost exactly 3 years ago, looking to replace, but I have seen a dizzying number of boards. I like flex, I don't like limited range. Recommendations for someone good for an honest 25 to 30 miles. 185 pounds. All right. I mean, if you want a street board, you'd probably want to look at the Meepo Voyager. That thing is insane. It's an awesome board. It's got a decent sized battery. If you want something that's got slightly bigger wheels, but really nice flex, look at the Tiny Explorer. If you want something carbon, Ace-Deck X1 or even the Stella S1. If you want just something really sort of quite basic but reliable and very fast, look at the Onboard Zeus Pro. Yeah, those ones I would be recommending. All right, next one, here we go, let's move on. D Driver, long time subscriber here. How hard is it to review electric skateboards with the same components? I love to see multi-board comparison, Q&A style with Mr. Black. And please talk about what your favorite board is and why. Always liked your live sessions, got a lot of information out of them. It's difficult to review when you get boards that have all the same stuff. And that's why before I say yes, I need to find something that's different. It might be a slightly different shaped deck, or it might be slightly wider trucks, or extra soft wheels. You know, the most recent one, the VOC Pilot ER. I was on the verge of saying no, but then I saw the blue wheels with 78. And I saw that it had the FOC Lingy, which again was slightly different from the previous board I'd reviewed that had the same enclosure and the same trucks. and it turned out to be a very different board. You really need to stop and look at the differences, look at the price point, but then you need to evaluate the company and look at the customer service, because you could get a board that's exactly the same, different grip tape, but one might have excellent customer service and one might be absolutely terrible. That's the one I'm going to review, that's the one I'm not going to review. As far as live sessions, we've got some really cool ones coming in 2023, so hold that thought, they're coming back. Next one is from Bonehead number one. Maybe off topic. Have you seen the Tiny Mini 2 off-road kit? Tiny has posted a photo of the, yep, I have seen it. It looks crazy. Apparently it works. I think I've actually got all the components they've used, so I might try putting it on mine, but I love my Mini 2 so much. It is my favorite mini board. In case that question's coming up, it is my favorite mini board, the Tiny Mini 2. The only thing that will probably replace it will be the Tiny Mini 3. If that comes out, maybe it will. I have seen it. I don't see the point of it. I know he did it because someone asked for it, and apparently it's actually selling quite well. So yeah, haven't ridden it, haven't tried it. Looks strange, but apparently it's selling. All right, next question, here we go. Next one is from Ken Lighton. Scott, big fan. When you go out for you ride, not filming reviews, what board is your go-to? Or go-tos if you have more than one? I've got two that I regularly take. Well, probably three actually. I've got three that I regularly take. The Tiny Mini 2, the Tiny Explorer. I really love those boards. If I'm going and I'm riding with people I know ride fast, I'll take the Meepo Hurricane. Now that I've got the Ultra, I started taking that, but I love the original Hurricane belt drive with the molly cells. It's just a really cool board. So they're the three that I take. The Tiny Mini 2, the Tiny Explorer, and the Meepo Hurricane. All right, the next question is from Zeke, Z-E-K-E. Do you feel your YouTube niche is too narrow? And is that why you've started doing other tech reviews, to get you out of that box before your channel blows up and people start expecting only EV content? 100%. I mean, I love being the ESK8 guy or the PEV guy, but there's so many other things there which I love to tinker with and I use regularly, that I sort of said to myself a few months ago, well, why don't I try to broaden the channel? And it is slowly working, but I would really like to sort of expand the channel into multiple different avenues of reviews. Next one is from Colby Bush. What are your 5 most important things you consider when buying a premium board? Customer service, battery type and build quality, ESC, customer service. Honestly, the most important thing is, it doesn't matter what board it is, your customer service or your after sales service is the most important thing. You know, you get the best board in the world, but if you blow a motor or your battery arrives damaged, if you can't get a good customer service resolution, then it's just as bad as Team G or APSU or Lycon. It's rubbish. So customer service is the biggest factor, I believe, when you look at an electric skateboard. Followed up by battery type and battery build quality. You know, if they're building their batteries on the cheap and they're really poorly built, then yeah, that's the biggest expense of that board. Followed up by your VESC or your ESK. Then you want to look at your deck quality, your truck quality. Are other things CNC milled or are they cast? 100% customer service. All right, next one, here we go, is Greg. I can never say Greg's surname. I'm gonna try Massenberg. I think that's right. Well, I'm gonna meet Greg for the first time at ESK8 in March. I'm very excited. I know every PEV has its place, but which type of PEV do you enjoy the most riding? Okay, really big question, because I do sell EUCs, but my heart is in the electric skateboards. There's something very flowy about them, very freeing. You know, it's like paddling out and catching a wave, going along a deserted bike path and just carving. For me, it's mindless. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to stress about it. EUCs is just very, sorry, my phone's going off. EUC is a lot of fun, good range, really fast. What is going on? I just put that on silent. It's actually Tiny, the Aiden messaging me from Tiny. So 100% ESK8, followed very, very closely by EUC. We go. Sandor, I can't pronounce the surname, S-Z-A-B-O-L-C-S-I. Proper battery charging and maintenance of an e-board and scooters for maximum longevity. How to determine belt sizing for the wheel pulleys okay, so proper battery charging, it really just comes down to not leaving it full and not leaving it empty. You wanna, if you're not gonna be using it for a long time, like more than sort of 3-4 days, store it around the 40 or 50% margin. If it depending on the battery size, you want to make sure you're balancing that pack regularly. So once the light goes green, leave it charged, leave it plugged in for like another hour, and let that BMS balance everything, get all the cells voltage nice and even. But yeah, just don't leave it at 100% for more than 2 days. and don't leave it below 30% because it'll just damage your batteries. As far as pulleys and stuff, Google that one. I don't have time to explain it, but I've got a box full of belts and I just keep going until I find one that fits. But I'm sure there's a scientific answer. Next one, here we go. Erwin Gary Mendez. Hi Scott, any way to repair an ESK8 battery like MaxFine and can, okay, yeah, just reach out to your local community. You know, every single community I know of around the world has battery builders or battery experts, and I'm sure they would love the work to rebuild a battery for someone. It will cost money, but reach out, put a post on your local Facebook page. I guarantee there's a battery expert or builder that will do it for you. Next question, okay, we're getting through this nice and quickly. Next one is, hiya. My question, in your opinion, what is the best board out of Onstra Challenger, Evolve Stoke Series 2, X-Way Flex Pro, and the Ace-Deck Stella? What are the reasons for your preference? I'm gonna give first place, I'm gonna give equal first place to Flex Pro and Ace-Deck Stella because they're two very different boards. The Ace-Deck is really quick, really well built, and I love the trucks. The trucks are amazing. Like the Ace-Deck Stella and the Aries X1 trucks are just beautiful. Very stiff, obviously carbon. The reason I'm giving it equal first place is because the Flex Pro is just as powerful, it's just as beautiful to ride, has some of the nicest bushing in the industry, but it's got a flex deck. So equal first place. As far as the other two, I haven't tested them, so I can't really comment, but first place 100% goes to those two. They're just beautifully well made, just fun to carve on boards. All right, Brad Tronic, what is your favorite e-ride and why? E-ride, I guess he means my favorite one in total. Probably the Hurricane. It's just got so much sort of punch and carve. Those double kingpin trucks are just so much fun. The Ultra takes a very close, almost takes it off the podium, but I do prefer the battery in the original Hurricane. Tiny Explorer takes second place, 100%. I love the flex of that thing. It really does feel like you're surfing. Followed by my V12 in motion EUC. Next one, here we go. We're getting through them. Next one is BMA RBCA, worst crash. I've had a couple of bad ones. I've had to have knee surgery after I came off once. The worst one though was completely my own fault. I pushed it too hard, came off really bad, had a full face helmet on, had all my pads, my gloves, basically broke my nose. You would have actually noticed midway through this year, I didn't post anything for 3 or 4 weeks, ended up in hospital, didn't know who the Prime Minister was, didn't know the day of the week, couldn't tell you my date of birth. My sunglasses, my Ray-Bans, my helmet pushed down on my Ray-Bans and then completely broke my nose. It's a pretty scary couple of days, and the side effects from that, I was actually having massive dizzy spells for, I don't know, 8-12 weeks after that, but only when I lay down. I'd lie down, I'd be like, whoa, get like vertigo. It was pretty scary. 100% better now, nose looks pretty good. Nobody commented, so I don't think anybody noticed. So that's definitely the worst one, but it's scary when you don't know your date of birth or the Prime Minister. All right, next one, DJ Wardlow Entertainment. How did you get started into e-skate? Did you used to skate longboards in your younger days, and what made you get into reviewing e-skateboards? Okay, really quickly, I skated when I was really young, like back in the 80s. I had my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle deck. I had a really cool Pal Peralta deck. Sort of stopped in my teenage years because I was in the BMX scene, and I got into motorbikes, and I was dirt biking down at the river every day. Little dog barking over there. And then got back into e-skate, 5 years ago now or something like that, I'm not sure the time. What made me get into reviewing? Well, I got ripped off. I bought a board, I watched people's reviews online. That seemed like the best board I had ever seen in the world, so I bought it, and it was absolute crap, and that pissed me off, and so I wanted to make my own videos and basically make sure people always knew that there were downsides to almost every board you buy. So that's what made me get into it. This one is from eBoarder. Benny, what inspired you to make an e-skate content? What were you doing on YouTube before, and what will you do when e-skate YouTube dies down? Good question. I just answered that. What inspired me? There were so many rubbish and dishonest and crap reviews out there. I wanted to be different and show both sides of the coin. What was I doing on YouTube? Nothing, absolutely nothing. This is I jumped straight into e-skate. I had nothing before that. What will I do after? Well, I'm just going to keep riding the wave of PEVs, you know, e-skates, hoverboards, hover cars, EUCs, scooters, whatever there is. If there's something there that companies want me to look at, I will put my hand up because it's just such a fun hobby and pastime, and it relaxes me. and it just helps me better myself. Every time I watch my videos back, I'm like, oh, why'd you waffle on about that? Or why'd you do this? Or why'd you do that? Fun fact, I used to have a really bad stutter, and sometimes it comes out when I'm really tired, but that was one of the reasons why I started this, because I can challenge myself without talking to people that I really know, talking to you guys, and I can focus on not stuttering. So that's why sometimes I come across quite blunt and quite poignant. It's because I'm focusing not on letting my stutter come out. So that's why I got into it. All right, next one, here we go. Mark Rockshock. Hey Scott, what about the promised video? Okay, that's coming. I've got the bindings for the NYX, sorry. That is coming very soon. Don't worry. It's going to be 2023 though, because we're off to New Zealand in a couple of days. Next one is Music Max. What's your top 3 e-boards, top 3 wheels? Thanks, Scott. I've already answered that. As far as top 3 e-boards, Hurricane, Explorer, Tiny Mini 2. Close with Stella S1. Top wheels, Hota Pneumatics. Love them. My favorite wheel hands down. I've just tried the Hydro wheels from X-Way and Cloud Wheel, the collaboration. Very, very nice, very, very sticky, dry and wet. I'm worried that tread might wear out, but we'll have to see. Third favorite, I don't know, I love the Meepo 90mm urethanes on the Voyager. Nice and soft, super wide contact patch. So I do like a bit of everything. All right, next one, Jackson. What's your favorite loop ride in Brisbane? Any nice secret spots? I just love going from, where is it? Toombul? I think it's Toombul. Toombul, I don't know. Near the airport, going to Nudgee Beach and back. It's just really nice, big loop. It's not too far, but it's pretty empty paths. You get some nice carve on. Really lovely. Follow the river. You can't put the drone up because the airport's right there, but yeah, it's really nice to go. We're getting down, I know we are now. Jump down. Can you compare Hota 6-inch wheels to Cloud Wheel Rovers? Most importantly, how big would you range? Okay, Hota, hands down over the Cloud Wheel Rovers. The Rovers are good if you are a little bit lazy and you just want to have a wheel that you're never going to get flat and you want to go up some slightly bigger curves. They're quite loose. You have a lot of fun with them, but if you want a really good quality ride, good quality tire, something that sticks in the wet and the dry, I honestly don't think you can beat the Hota tires. They're just beautifully made. And here we go, next one. ETA wheels. Would you be willing to offer pointers on how to approach ESK8 PEV companies? I answered that almost right at the very beginning of the video, so go back and have a look. It's about being positive in the community, having a positive impact on the community, and then having a positive impact on the brand itself. So find errors, find mistakes, let them know, hey, I noticed this on your website, hey, I noticed this error here, you know, and you'll get on their radar. And don't be a dick. That's the biggest one. Don't be a knob. Just be honest, be yourself. Jason Gagnon. Hey Scott, I've always wondered what it's like having so many PEVs. Is it troublesome to maintain them all? Is it safe storage, insurance, any issues? Do you ever sell or giveaway boards? Lastly, what does your significant other think about them? Thanks. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. You need to always maintain the batteries. I sort of try to rotate and ride as much as I can. I've sold a few. I give a lot away to friends, and like that kid on the last video, I'm gonna meet up with him hopefully tomorrow if I've got time. The kid who had the DIY board, I'm gonna give him a board because he's so cool and I want him to be safe. So he can pull it apart, he can DIY it if he wants, or he can ride it as it is. My significant other, what does she think? Well, she is a saint. She puts up with all my crap. She lugs the boxes in when I'm at work. She puts them in the shed for me, you know, she signs for them. And these boxes are pretty heavy. She never tells me to get rid of them, which is amazing. You know, we're looking for a new house at the moment, and she's actually, you know, incorporated in a 5th bedroom, so I can have my own studio, my own place to keep the boards. So she's just an absolute saint when it comes to this, because she sees it's a passion. She sees how much it relaxes me and how much I enjoy going out and filming. As far as insurance, it's a bit of a tricky one. You've got to be careful. We're fully insured, luckily, because we just are. It costs extra, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. If you're gonna have as many things like that in the house, you really should make sure you're covered. Next one, Brad Tonic. What's the fastest you've ever been on an e-board? 65 kilometers per hour, and that was on the original Zeus, going over the bridge. Had a slight tailwind, 65, and I hit 65 and sat on 65 for a good 15 seconds. Just, and that was fast. Like, it was on 120 cloud wheels, and I was shitting bricks. All right, hey mate, Porky Pig Bacon and Eggs. Hey mate, long time follower, subscriber. Love the videos you create, but I would like to know where you ride or some good path tracks to follow. I have an Evolve GTR with AT and street wheels, so dirt or concrete is fine. I'm Gold Coast, I know you're Brizzy, either is fine. So I just ride everywhere. You know, along the Brisbane River, I park at Hamilton, go all the way into the university. On the other side, you can do the river loop. The one I just mentioned that goes out to Nudgee. Redcliffe, there's a massive bridge over there which I filmed both Zeus videos. Brisbane is just a ESK8 paradise. The paths are so amazing. Cameron Lee Haskell, which board do you personally use the most and why? I've answered that a couple of times, but Hurricane, Tiny Explorer, Tiny Mini 2. All right, next question, here we go. We're getting down there now, it's not many left. Stuart Bissett, B-I-S-S-E-T. Scott, Queenslander has some of the most PE-friendly conditions in Australia, yet due to poor rider behaviour, hospital load, the state has reframed further enforced 25 kilometres max and 12 kilometre on footpaths, with PEVs are getting faster and faster. Any comments? It is what it is. It does suck that they're lowering down the max speed to 12 in a lot of areas. In February, they're going to be opening up a lot more areas for us to ride, which is awesome. We'll be able to ride on more bike paths on the road. We can already ride in neighbourhood areas where there's no centre line on the road at 25k an hour. I think we just need to look at that. We're still very lucky that we can ride along here. I ride past cops all the time and they give me a wave and ask me what it is and have a good chat. I think we're very lucky that we can ride our scooters, our e-skates, our EUCs and everything around here. Yes, few people ruin it, and I see people flying along, you know, drinking while they're riding and on their phones, and it's just, I just shake my head and go, guys, you're ruining it for everybody. But I think in 5 years' time, it'll be legal everywhere. Honestly, that's my honest opinion. Globally, these things will be the future. They'll be the answer. We'll have our own paths. 5-10 years, everyone will be riding EUCs and e-skateboards and e-scooters because there will just be such a drain on the fossil fuels that they'll have to do something. Oh, that was the last question. Steve, you've got the last question. Congratulations. All right, guys, that is it. That's probably been plenty long enough. I'm sorry for waffling on. Next video is going to be day 1 of the New Zealand vlog series. So we're going to New Zealand. The skateboard is currently stuck in customs. I really hope it arrives. We're flying out on Wednesday next week. So we're going to vlog the whole trip. We've got a skateboard. A particular company has sponsored the trip, which is awesome. We'll talk about that on day 1. And we're going to basically film my experience going home. Haven't been home since before COVID, so it's going to be really awesome to see my mum and dad and my sister and brother and all their kids. My wife's mum, she's getting married, so we're going back for that. Taking Zoe to some place she's never been before, my daughter, and we're going to do a whole lot of e-skating around there, and I'm going to ride an electric skateboard up a pretty big mountain in my hometown. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because all that content's going to be coming out every day, if not every second day. And if you are in New Zealand, make sure you are definitely subscribed because at the end of the holiday, I'm going to be giving away my skateboard that I'm going to be riding around. So I'm not going to ship that back anywhere. I'm going to do a draw and we're going to ship it off to someone in New Zealand. Now, I know there's not that many New Zealand subscribers, so if you're watching this and you know someone in New Zealand, you can go on the draw as well, and you can nominate them and I'll ship it to them on your behalf. So make sure you watch these videos. There'll be one every 1 or 2 days, as I mentioned, and at the end, we'll be giving away a very, very good quality electric skateboard, one of my personal favorites. What's it gonna be? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Skate safe, and we'll see you on the next video. Yo!